by Comrade Lenin and Comrade Stalin showed how peace between peoples could be achieved.
Guys, that is him right there. That's the Joshua Carey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again, and I hope every single one of you are doing well. Fasten your seatbelts. We're about to dive into some very interesting details surrounding the Anne Widdecombe case. As I said in the last video, I do want to get a different perspective or different perspectives from various other content creators regarding these images, because none of them are resembling each other. They're looking like different people. Not only that, we've got some more interesting details that I want to bring to your attention in this video, so don't go anywhere. In fact, we've got a video of allegedly the real Joshua Carey speaking at some type of conference, at some type of meeting.
Let's look at photo number 1. Joshua Carey, 28 from Rochdale, the man accused of the murder of Anne Widdecombe. Now, let's look at photo number 2. This is the courtroom portrait created by courtroom artist Elizabeth Cook. This is how she depicted the defendant during the court proceedings, and she signs her artwork. Now let's look at photo number 3. Someone asked Grok to create a realistic human version of Elizabeth Cook's courtroom sketch. It didn't have access to the original photograph. It simply generated what it believed the sketch represented. Now this is the result. Now compare all 3 images carefully. The first is a photograph of the accused. The second is a signed courtroom sketch. The third is an AI-generated human interpretation of that sketch. Look at the facial features, the head shape, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the hairline, and the overall...
It's so weird, so weird how 2 artists are sitting in the same courtroom and they're looking at the same person, but they drew 2 completely different people. Like, how does that make any sense? And as I said in the last video, the second version that we get, it slightly resembles this guy. The guy that we can see on the screen with the glasses on. But then why didn't Elizabeth Cook's image resemble this guy? Why does it look like a totally different guy? Why? What's going to make matters worse is when we look at the video of Joshua Carey at this conference back in 2023, means it would have been a year after this alleged image of him in the glasses, because that was 2022. It will show you someone has been lying and misleading and has literally pulled the wool. But then it begs the question, who is the guy that Elizabeth Cook is drawing in the courtroom?
Appearance. Do you believe these 3 images depict the same individual, or do you think there are significant differences? I'm not telling you what to think. I'm simply showing you the images side by side and asking you to make up your own mind.
Actually, I agree. No one is telling anyone what to think. People can look at these images side by side and their mind tells them exactly what everyone's mind's telling them. This doesn't make sense.
Right, I'm going to discuss these Anne Widdecombe suspect images one more time, because a lot of you seem to have completely missed what I was going on about yesterday. And at the end of this video, I've got some more very important information for you, so make sure you stay till the end. Right, let's get into this. A lot of you were saying yesterday, or some of you were saying yesterday, that I have somehow manipulated these images. I haven't, right? These are official court sketches from Elizabeth Cook. Look. See down here? PA Media, Elizabeth Cook, right? Now, even Sky News, your beloved mainstream media, has picked these up and run with this. So these are official. Look into Elizabeth Cook's history and you'll see she's a well-respected courtroom sketch artist, right? I put a link to her website on yesterday. That was not for you to find these images. They will not be available on the website. The website is where she sells her images, one-off copies. She doesn't do prints. That's why these have not been officially signed, because they're not being officially sold. When she sells them, if she sells them, they will be one-offs, and then she will sign them and put all the information on like she has on the other pictures available on her website. Now, the point of the website was for you to go there, see the images, you can see who they are supposed to be, and make your own mind up as to whether she is an accurate courtroom sketch artist, i.e., could these images be accurate to the person, or is she a bit of a fumbler? Now, with her reputation, I'm assuming she's a very good artist and very accurate, and I saw some images I thought were accurate, and I must admit I saw a couple that I thought were a bit, pardon the pun, sketchy. But I'm just here to bring you the information. Now, this image is the one that seemed to cause all the controversy. People said I took this image and doctored it. No, this image is from a different court sketch artist. As you can see, this one is by Julia Quensler, who released it through SWNS Media. Again, there were 2 court sketch artists there at the time. Now, that was good because they moved the hearing around so much that you couldn't actually decide when you were supposed to see him. You were supposed to be here in the morning. He ended up there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyway, 2 different images, 2 different artists. Do they represent Joshua Kerry? Who fucking knows? Because we can't seem to find out exactly what Joshua Kerry looks like, can we? Then there's this image, the famous image. Everybody's seen this image. Everybody knows what this is. There is an investigation through JAOC Investigations or JAOC Investigations that claims on his website that this has been AI generated. He cites several different things all round. There's different images, different ways he's manipulated it to show you what he thinks is wrong. I don't know a lot about generating AI images, so I can't tell you whether that's accurate or whether it's not. If you want to know more about that, go to JAOC's website and have a look. You can look at all the images, you can look at the report, you can look at everything, make your own mind up. Now, the one thing I will say about this image is it seems to be damn near impossible to find the original image. This was lifted from the Metro's article where they say this was taken at a charity fundraiser for local sea cadets at his office. Now, he apparently worked for a lift company. I've looked into lift companies around Rotherham. I haven't found any notice of a Sea Cadets fundraiser linked to any of their pages. Some of them have got community events. Like, give you an example, there's a company called the Elevator Company who had an Easter event, but there was no picture of him included, so I can't even confirm that he worked for that company. But the original image is impossible to find. Every image that has been released of this picture doesn't have the original credit of the image, i.e. who supplied it to the media. So I can't find it. In fact, I can't find any record of this existing before 2026.
And that right there is dodgy within itself. How is that possible? How has no one been able to find a record of where that image come from? Why did the media who initially published that image not give credit to the source of where that image came from? Are we now walking into the realms of intentionally manipulating the way we think, what we feel, and ultimately what we believe? It's so weird how there's no trace of that image whatsoever. Seems like that image was produced in 2026, according to what Mickey is saying. Now, the reason it's weird is because Elizabeth Cook, she never drew that guy. Why not? But then all of a sudden, after the media released that image that Elizabeth Cook produced, we have another image from another artist. And that drawing has a resemblance to the guy that we can't find a trace of. No way of verifying if that is actually Joshua Kerry. It seems like that image was just produced in 2026. There's no trace of where that image come from, who supplied the image. But then all of a sudden, we've got this artist creating this drawing that kind of resembles that person who's untraceable. Make sure you stick with me, ladies and gentlemen, because we are about to watch a video that will be revealing the real Joshua Kerry.
Now, the important bit of information that I wanted to tell you is that Joshua Kerry has now probably disappeared for over a year. The court has scheduled a case management hearing for October 9th this year, followed by a plea and trial preparation hearing on November 20th this year. A provisional trial date has been set for June 8th, 2027, which means he can easily attend these via video link or whatever, and then we will not see...
It's a whole year until the provisional trial day.
This man again for another year. This is why I'm saying to you, question everything. It doesn't make you a conspiracy theorist, but you don't have to take at face value the first shit they ram down your throat. And I think this proves that there's at least questions to be asked.
Pick up this lovely lady. She's given us various different perspectives on this case, giving us a clearer understanding into the investigation itself. I would suggest you guys go and follow her on TikTok, UK Chatter Forum, if you are interested in keeping up to date with what's going on.
There is even more details coming out on the Anne Widdecombe murder case. So the CPS have decided to release this information to the public. Now, what they do know is the whole attack was caught on camera from Anne Widdecombe's hallway. Now let's go through what happened that day. So I will just briefly go over what the CPS found in Joshua Kerry's house. They did find newspaper clippings on the wall of Nigel Farage and the Reform Party. So he's a hard left activist, absolutely obsessed with that party and obviously right-wing thinking people. That is not an excuse to go and kill someone. So on that day, he left his house in Rotherham and he drove his Vauxhall Corsa down to Devon where Anne Widdecombe lived. Now, what is being picked up on the cameras, the Ring doorbell on Anne's house picked up him pulling up on the driveway. Now, he enters the house through an open door because, as many know, it's been hot everywhere. We've had a heat wave. So if you're living somewhere that is safe, you're going to have your doors open, you're going to have your windows open. And that's what Anne had that day. She had her door open. So he walked in. And this was all caught. The inside was caught from the cameras that are inside her home. And he confronted her in the kitchen while she was sat eating her lunch.
Tell me how, if someone's been hit over the head 21 times and there's blood everywhere, and how does the police go in there with the forensics and pull it down as a burglary gone wrong?
Following the Anne Widdecombe murder case and the accused Joshua Kerry, then I've got something that you are going to want to see. Now, I came across something earlier on, and it was a video of Joshua Kerry. So I'd done some digging into this, and it was uploaded in 2023 by a communist page on another platform. Here it is. This is the page that is sharing the video. And as you can, if you go to that page and have a look through, it's got some questionable stuff on there. But Joshua Kerry, back in 2023, actually done a speech for this page, and they all call each other comrades. So here's the video.
No question by Comrade Lenin and Comrade Stalin showed how peace between peoples could be achieved.
Guys, that is him right there. That's the Joshua Kerry.
It wasn't just workers who saw this lodestar. The ruling class did too. The landowners and capitalists saw the future laid out ahead of them. A future where the exalted few would be shorn of their ability to live decadent lifestyles off the backs of countless workers and peasants.
Now, that was a speech at one of their events. So this would make sense of why he went after Anne Widdecombe, because he's clearly shown that he's far left communist, whereas Anne was right wing. But his ideology and his completely different views to Anne would make sense of why he went after her. And
But I wouldn't solely rely on that. We're talking about 21 times. That for me is personal. And whoever done this tells me that they've done it before. You know, you got to think that journey as well. You know, that journey that he would have taken from Rotherham to Devon. Within that journey, there was no contemplating, no thinking twice. There was no plan in place to kind of instantly move abroad. Because if you think about it, if he wanted to get away with this, he could have got away with it. They didn't find Anne for 24 hours, which means within those 24 hours, he could have been on a flight and flew anywhere he wanted to. But no, he drove back to Rotherham knowing that he was on surveillance camera. He must have known that he was on camera. He just went back to Rotherham, got in bed and waited for the police to come. That doesn't make any sense. Like, you wanted to get caught. If you wanted to get caught, why don't you just stay at the scene and hand yourself in? Instead, he decided to drive all the way back to Rotherham. To do what exactly? It's not like he come back and told someone, yeah, I just killed Anne Widdecombe, and that person went and snitched. Didn't get that kind of information. There wasn't no snitch. It was just randomly, the police knew exactly who this was, and the guy was based in Rotherham. We're left scratching our heads thinking, how was that possible? How was you able to identify who this individual was? Especially if he doesn't have any type of history of crime.
Actually killed a 78-year-old elderly lady. And it is still a shocking case to me. Absolutely shocking. I cannot understand, I cannot get my head around why you would do that just because someone has different views to you. How you think you have the right to take someone's life, I do not understand that whatsoever. I just want to leave you with another screenshot of that page, so you can see when they'd uploaded this video. It was on the 17th of December 2023. But anyone can see the similarities from that video to the one where he's shirtless and taking the bins out. I just hope that justice can happen for Anne Widdecombe now.
Yeah, I'm just still not understanding why he would have done such a thing, even if it was political. What for? Because of Anne's views? Like, there ain't other people with the same views? Poor old Anne was 78 years old. She was close to death, bless her. So what did you expect to achieve out of driving there and hitting her over the head with a hammer 21 times. Because you got to think, if someone went out of their way to plan something like that, it wouldn't necessarily make sense for them to do it just for the one person. Had to have been more people involved, especially to give him confidence and encouragement to do it that day and drive all that way without contemplating, without second guessing, without saying, oh, you know what, Josh, man, what you doing, bro, man? Just stop the car, go and grab some McDonald's. No. This guy was confident for 4 hours driving like 80 on the M-way all the way to Devon. All that was on his mind throughout the whole 4.5 hour journey was, when I get there, I'm going to kill Anne Widdecombe somehow. If it's making any sense to anyone. And I honestly don't want to be like a broken record going over and over the same stuff again and again and again. All of the images are questionable. Everything we've seen of this Joshua Kerry so far is questionable. Unfortunately for us, we're not going to know what's going on with this one until next year, because that's when the provisional trial starts. Although there's a number of red flags that are not making any sense, I think at this point, it's going to be difficult for us to go any further to try and understand what's actually taking place here until we get further updates. So this probably will be one of the last videos that we do on Anne Widdecombe, unfortunately, until we get further updates, that is, until we get more transparency and more information about the investigation itself. This probably will be one of the last videos we do. What I want from you guys right now is to leave all your thoughts and all your comments down below. Maybe there's something in the comments that you might say that might inspire me to make another video, because I might have not seen it from that angle, or there could be something I need to look at again. But do comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, exactly what you're thinking at this moment in time. But it's going to be interesting to find out what the investigation is looking like, what's going to take place next, and whether they've actually got their hands on the right man. Again, leave all your thoughts, all your comments down below. Let me know exactly what you're thinking. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if we're newly watching. Turn those notification bells on. We've got plenty more videos uploading. I look forward to seeing you lot on the next one.